today, what we're going to talk about is this topic that you see here on the screen, and that is mindset for wellness. How to build mental resilience and achieve your health goals. So, we're going to talk a lot about mindset throughout the Inner Circle program. And even in my one on one coaching, we do a lot with mindset. And the reason for that is because your mindset is really the basis for achieving any goals that you want to have. I've worked with countless people over the years on various personal and professional goals. And I can tell you that the ones that are successful are the ones that have the right mindset, have approached things from a certain way. And the ones that really struggle are the ones that are really struggling in their mindset. They're struggling with telling themselves that they can do this, and that keeping keeping the long-term goal at the forefront of their mind, that, okay, we've hit one obstacle. That's okay, because that's the way life is. We hit obstacle, going to be okay, and then we just move on. And so those are the people that when the first obstacle just hits, or the second obstacle hits, or the third obstacle hits, and they just kind of throw their hands up in the air and they say, like, screw it, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And so those are really the people that really struggle with their long-term wellness goals. With any sort of long-term goal, is really just having the right mindset. So what I want to do today is just talk about, what does that mean? Now, I do have a presentation on the screen for you to follow along. You do not need to sit at the computer and watch this on the video on the TV or wherever. You can certainly just listen to this as well. So just bring this up on your app, bring it up on your phone. Let's go for a walk. Let's go to the gym, whatever it is that you're doing. You can certainly just listen along to this. The presentation is here for those of you that like to follow along. It also helps keep me on track with what I want to talk about. So today we're going to talk about how to build mental resilience and achieve your health goals. So when we're talking about resilience, it's just, how do we overcome setbacks? How do we overcome things that are in the way of our goals? Those of you who have been around for a little bit of length of time know that I recently had a major setback, and I'm personally on my own journey to lose a significant amount of weight. And the setback started with, the pandemic. Things were happening there. Then I got COVID really bad. Then I broke my leg. It was just like one little thing after another, but I kept showing up for myself. Sure, I gained weight, but I knew that I was going to get back to it. I had the mindset of, this is just temporary. This is not permanent, and I'm going to get back to it. All right. And, some of these obstacles can be smaller things, like not necessarily an injury or an illness or something like this. A smaller obstacle can certainly get in the way of us achieving our goals. So, for example, something as simple as, you've prepped your food for the day. You got 2 snacks and you brought a lunch with you, or you planned to bring a lunch with you, but guess what? You left it sitting in your refrigerator when you left this morning. So now what? Now what are you going to do? Are you going to go order and eat a whole huge pizza? Probably not. You're going to be resilient. You're going to know how to make the right choices. You have to go to a grocery store and buy something. You have to go to a restaurant and buy something. You get something delivered, whatever it may be. Okay. But you're going to, have that mindset of, okay, this thing happened. Plan B, plan C, whatever. All right. So today what I wanted to do is, like I said, we've already talked about the importance of mindset for long-term success. And this is especially true for women over 30 and 40 and 50 and beyond. And the reason that I say that, certainly, in mindset, equally as important when you're in your 20s, when you're in your teens, things like this. Life changes in your 30s, life changes in your 40s, life changes in your 50s, life changes beyond that. You have different types of responsibilities. Okay. You have responsibilities in your home life. You have responsibilities in your career. You have a lot of people who are dependent on you, either at home, at your work, or maybe both. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay. And when we get into our 40s or so, a lot of women are at the height of their careers. They're really busy, but they've still got responsibilities of, children at home, maybe teenagers at home, maybe kids in college. And now you've also got parents that are aging and need assistance as well. So you're in sort of that sandwich generation of, you're at the peak of your career, but you've also got these other responsibilities. And so this is why it's so important to talk about mindset for women in their 30s and 40s and beyond. And if you're in your 30s and you're not quite there yet, where you don't feel like you're at your peak of your career, you don't have older parents yet that you have to take care of, things like that, just know that you still have some very unique challenges. You have some very unique things happening in your life. You might be on the up and up in your career. You're spending a lot of time trying to prove yourself and trying to make a name for yourself and build up your career such that, when you are in your 40s, when you are in your 50s, that you are really at that peak point of your career. And so, like I said, that can just really present some unique challenges. And so that's what this full Inner Circle program is all about, is how do you maintain that healthy lifestyle in your 30s and your 40s and beyond? All right. So the key message here today is mindset is foundational for success in all areas: nutrition, workouts, self-care. It doesn't matter. Mindset is important for your career success. Mindset is essential for your personal success and all the things that you want to achieve in your personal life. Mindset's also a very important piece to, any sort of relationships that you have with other people as well. So that's why this is such a huge topic, and we'll be talking much more about it, of course, in the context of health and wellness for women. So the first is to think about, what is your why? What is your strong why? Have that strong why. I don't think that it is good enough to say, I want to lose 25 pounds. And if you're following me on social media right now, this is October of 2024, so the last quarter of 2024, I am sharing my own personal journey of losing 25 pounds. Okay. But there needs to be a larger goal. There needs to be a larger reason why, because you know what's going to happen? The scale's going to go up. The scale's going to go down. The scale's going to go up again, and then it's going to go down again. And I've been there where you just like, I'm doing all this work. I'm doing everything right. Why is the scale doing this? What is even the point? What is even the point? Okay. And the point is, what is your why? What is the reason why you're doing this? Okay. So just losing 25 pounds or just losing 50 pounds or just losing 10 pounds, that's great. But what is the reason that you want to be able to do that? Do you want to be able to get on the floor and play with your kids and play with your grandkids? Do you want to be able to do a major hike? Do you want to be able to do some sort of a fitness competition, a strongman competition, a Ragnar, whatever type of thing that you want to do? Is it something that you want to be able to achieve, something you want to be able to accomplish? And in that journey, you're going to lose the weight that you want to lose. Okay. So one example might be, you want to improve your mental health so that you have more energy with kids, so that you're more mindful, you're much more present, that you're paying attention to, the activities that you're doing with your kids versus thinking about, well, I've got to work out, or I've got to meal prep, or I don't know what we're going to have for dinner and it's already 5:30. And you're thinking about 1,000 other things when your goal is to be present and mindful, that when you're spending that time with your kids, that everybody's enjoying it. Okay. So what I want you to do is to write down what your why is, and I want you to display it somewhere. And you don't need to share it. You don't need to share it with anyone. If you are in my one-on-one coaching program, I will certainly ask you what it is, but you don't need to share it publicly. And I suggest putting it in a place that you're going to see it every single day. I like to put things on my bathroom mirror. Why? Because I know they're on there at least twice a day: in the morning to brush my teeth, in the evening to brush my teeth. So put your reasons why. So you've got this goal. You want to lose 25 pounds. You want to lose 40 pounds. You want to whatever. But what is the why? What is the reason for that? For me, I know that I feel comfortable at a certain weight. I feel strong. I feel healthy and able to do the things that I want to do. All right. So write that down, and even just pause this video and start brainstorming. You might not even know why. You might not even know why. It might just be like, I want to fit into a pair of jeans, or I want to look good in this dress for this event, or something as simple as that. And that's okay. That's okay. That's going to get you there. So write that down and then display it somewhere. Put a Post-it note and put it somewhere that you're going to see it every single day. All right. And then I want you to commit to revisiting your why every morning. This is why the bathroom just works really well for me, because I know I'm going to see it in the morning and I am going to see it again in the evening. Just because of the habit of brushing my teeth. Okay. So you find some place that works well for you, that you can put this, just put it on a Post-it note and say, this is my goal and here's the reason why. This is the reason why I want to be able to do it. I want to be present for my kids. I want to have energy to be able to play with them. I want to have energy on vacation. I want to take an active vacation versus just, going somewhere and laying on the beach, which laying on the beach is nice too. but maybe you want to go somewhere and, do some sort of activity on vacation, whatever it may be. And there's no wrong answer here. There's zero wrong answer here. Okay. You just have to figure out what it is for yourself. Okay. So I want you to do here, write down and display your why, display it somewhere, and then commit to revisiting your why every single morning and just looking at it, acknowledging it, and saying, yes, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm working on today. Okay. Let's talk about self-belief and confidence. So self-belief and using positive affirmations, those of you that might be a little bit older and you remember, I don't know, it was on, not Saturday Night Live, but that other show that was on, there was a character called Stuart Smalley, and he always had these positive affirmations. He'd say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. And he would give himself that self-affirmation every single day, or that positive affirmation every single day. But if you kind of feel like, Heather, this is a little bit woo-woo for me, just hear me out here. What I want you to do is start paying attention to the negative self-talk that you give yourself in your brain that nobody else hears but you. All right. You're the only one that hears this. You say, I can't do this. Why do I think I can do this? I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to look good. I don't deserve to feel good. Who am I to think that I can do this? That's all negative self-talk. Okay. And what I want you to do is start paying attention to how much that happens, and then replace that with something positive. All right. So when you catch yourself saying, who am I to think that I can actually achieve this? Start saying to yourself, I have the skills and the ability to be able to do this. I know that I can do this. And if I don't have the skills or ability to do this, I know how to get the skills or abilities. Okay. Start taking those things that you're starting to notice about your negative self-talk, the things that you're telling yourself, the things that you would never say to anybody else in your life, but you're telling it to yourself. You're saying things like, I'm so fat, or, I can't stand this muffin top on my pants, like stuff like that. Of course, that's, things that we want to overcome, but let's change it to, all right, I still got a little bit of fluff around my belly, but you know what? I'm working on it. I'm doing all the things that I need to do to make it so that I can fit into these pair of shorts again by next summer. It's October. I can fit into these pair of shorts again by next summer. Right? And if it's not October, you're watching this in the future, you get the point. Okay. So you don't have to go buy a book of positive self-affirmations. You can certainly do that. I have a fun book. It's called effing affirmations. And they're just really blunt to the point. And I have a couple of videos on Instagram with them. I do need to make some more, but you could certainly do that if you want. But I really think what you want to do here is start being mindful of some of the negative self-talk you have. So pay attention to it. Acknowledge it when it comes up. And then just stop whatever you're doing. I mean, if you're driving, you got to still drive, but stop thinking that way. Just stop that thought process and flip it around into a positive affirmation. Okay. So what I want you to do now is to think about 3 positive affirmations that you can write down, and that these are things that you are going to tell yourself. So if you start paying attention to what that negative self-talk is, or maybe you already know exactly what kind of negative self-talk you have. You already know that you say this thing to yourself every single day, or every time you look in the mirror, every time you get out of the shower, or whatever it may be. You already know that you're telling yourself this, okay? What I want you to do is flip that around, and I want you to write down 3 positive affirmations that's going to go on that same Post-it note that you are writing your why on, okay? So you're going to write down 3 positive affirmations, and you've got your why, and then you've got your positive affirmations that you can tell yourself, and you can repeat it. You can put it on your phone. Make a nice little quote, like, on Canva or something like that, and save it as the background on your phone so that you constantly see it. It's a constant reminder of that positive affirmation. So make that commitment to a daily affirmation practice. So whether it's, like I said, put them on your phone so you see them all the time. Set up a whiteboard at home that you can write these things on there. You can write them on your refrigerator, leave yourself notes, things like this. Put them in various places so that you can kind of catch when you're having that negative self-talk with yourself, and like you're just kind of in navigating your environment, and you can sort of catch yourself in that Post-it note or that index card or that whiteboard or whatever that's got your positive affirmations on them. They're going to remind you to be like, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore. Okay. So let's self-belief and confidence. Now we've talked about journaling. If you've watched some of the other workshops and sessions, we've talked about journaling. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about journaling here and tracking progress beyond the scale. So as you know, the scale does not tell everything, all right? And you're worth way more than that number that's between your feet, that's between your toes, okay? You're worth way more than that. And it's literally just the number that is representative of your body mass to the Earth's gravity. That's all that is, okay? So don't put any sort of self-worth in that particular number. But I do know that many of us are at a point where, like, we don't like that number. We don't like how we feel. We don't like that number. We don't like that extra fluff, right? And so what I want you to do is really pay attention to other things that you can measure beyond the scale. And I've got a post on Instagram about this too. It's just how to show, how there are different signs that you're making progress that are beyond the scale. Okay. And so things like you handle stress better, you're not so reactive to things. You're feeling much more confident. You're not having the 3 p.m. energy crash. They're very simple things that start happening as you're making progress in your healthy lifestyle. So what I want you to do is you are journaling every day. You are keeping track of what are some of the things that you're making progress in. What are some of the areas that you want to work on? You can start adding in things like thinking about your emotional state, the feelings that you're having. How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling, physically? Are you finding that you're less reactive to things at work? The things that used to make you fly off the handle, you're just like, okay, yeah, let's handle it and move on. Okay. Or maybe something happens at home, your kids make a mess in the house. You're not so reactive to it. All right. So those are the kinds of things that you're like, wow, I didn't used to be like this, but now I am. And it's good. Okay. Write those things down. Okay. And then, like I said, it's so important to track more than just weight. You can track your weight. You certainly track it, but make sure you're taking measurements. Make sure you're tracking all the different small wins that you have. And I've said this several times. If you watched other videos of mine where, I broke my leg and it was severe. I was in the hospital. I was on the couch for 5 months. And I was just at a point where I was like, I got to make a comeback from this. Like, this is not going to be the rest of my life. I know that I'm capable of more than this, but the amount that I have to do, and like, I'm a year into this now. I'm well a year into this. And I'm still not where I want to be. But what I did to get started, because I knew that sometimes progress takes a little bit of time to notice. And especially for me, I'm 5'10". I can gain at least 25 pounds and not change pant size, right? Those of you that are tall, you get it. We got plenty of room. So what I started doing is I just started posting on Facebook when I would notice that I was making some sort of progress. I was doing it daily for a little while. It was really just for me. I mean, of course, all my friends could see it, but I wanted the Facebook memories to come up a year later. And now they are coming up a year later. And it's amazing to me that a year ago, I was just happy I could stand long enough to cook dinner. Okay. So, like, that's where I was. But if I hadn't been tracking that, it would be very easy to forget that. It'd be very easy to forget that how far I have come in the last year. So, what I want you to do here is part of your daily journaling habit is to track your emotional, your mental, and your physical progress. The things that you're noticing, the things maybe other people have pointed out to you. As you start making more progress, other people are going to start pointing things out to you. All right. And then you can do a weekly review of your journal, a monthly review, quarterly review, annual review. Just flip back through it and you're like, wow, that's where I used to be. And look at where I am now. And so maybe the scale hasn't changed, or the scale's, only a 10-pound difference and you want it to be 30 pounds difference, but you're seeing that progress. Okay. And, I'm going to keep talking about this. The power of small wins. This is where it's at. When I'm going to use school as an example. Most of us have gone through school of some sort, or some sort of training, or we've gone to high school. We're familiar with school. And when you go to school, you have a course that you're taking, and your instructor has a syllabus of all the different things that you're going to do throughout that course. And then it's broken down. Your instructor, you might not see it, but your instructor breaks it down to, this is the lesson that we're going to do on this day. This is the lesson we're going to do on this day. This is the lesson. This assignment's going to be due on this day. This assignment's going to be due on that day. All right. So my point here is that your instructor isn't asking you in a 16-week semester, isn't asking you at the end of the 16th week to just hand in 16 weeks worth of work. He or she's not just going to the last week say, all right, here's all your assignments for the semester that are due next week. And you're going to just try to cram all this in 1 week. And it's not going to work. You're going to crash and burn and you're not going to be successful. All right. The same concept applies here, that you're going to follow this process. You're going to follow this journey over a certain amount of time. We don't necessarily know how long that is. Each one of your goals are different. Each one of your situations is different, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to do small, consistent things every single day throughout that journey, okay? We're not just going to be like, I need to lose 30 pounds this week, because we're not going to do that. It's not how it works, all right? So those small, consistent wins lead to big results. And even like, it's October right now, and you might say, well, I want to do this by Thanksgiving. You might not even want to be looking out that far. You might want to look out and say, okay, this week, I want to take 3 walks, 30 minutes each. Okay. And I'm going to schedule them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then on Friday, I'm going to be like, yes, I did it. Or yes, I did it, but I had to alter it just a little bit because these things came up. But that part of the small win is that resilience. It's that something came up. Your original plan isn't going to work. You rework the plan. All right. That's part of it. Is that resilience. Okay. So another example might be you want to take, daily water intake. You want to increase your daily water intake to 1/2 gallon of water a day. Another rule of thumb you can use, some people use, is your body weight in ounces. Some people use that as well. Okay. So your actionable step here is to set and track small daily goals. So what is that one small daily goal that you can do this week? If a week feels too short for you, what can you do this month, or what can you do this quarter? Right? Just depending on where you are. If you're just getting started, this is like the first video of mine that you're watching. Start with, what can you do today? What can you do today? Today it might be, I'm going to choose this meal for dinner and I'm going to go to bed a little bit early so I get more sleep. That might be what it is. Okay. Then from there, you can work on to weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, annual goals. All right. And then celebrate that regular progress. As you're making that progress, not everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, wow. Not everybody's going to be like that. I'm just being honest with you here. But you can celebrate that regular progress. Post that Facebook group. Post in the Vibrant Balance Living Facebook group and just be like, hey guys, this thing happened, I did it. And we're going to cheer you on. Okay. Let the people in your close circle know. They all know you're doing this, hopefully, because we want them to be supportive of what you're doing. Let them know. Let them know that you accomplished this thing. Okay. So celebrate it. So when those setbacks happen and when we start telling ourselves all the excuses under the sun, how are we going to handle that? All right. I think that, the setbacks are inevitable. They're going to happen. They're going to be things like, I literally forgot my lunch. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to think about what I'm going to do instead. Okay. I have this major illness. I have a major injury. Somebody in my family has a major illness or major injury, and now I'm their caretaker. These can be really big setbacks. Okay. And that is just inevitable. It's an inevitable part of life. Life is not easy. Life is hard. And the part that makes the majority of people successful in anything they do is their resilience. It's that ability to look at a setback and go, yeah, this thing happened, but I've come up with a plan to navigate it. I've come up with a plan to handle it. All right. And then, we also tell ourselves excuses. We give nobody's immune to telling themselves excuses, but a big part to this is acknowledging and recognizing when you're making up an excuse. You're making up an excuse for yourself. Okay. Being able to say like, okay, this is the reason something happened, but as you're saying it, you're going, this sounds a whole lot like an excuse. That is a huge part of your journey in building that resilience. All right. So what I would say is think about the obstacles that can get in your way. Think about the things that you know right now could get in your way. And maybe you're not aware. And if we do one-on-one coaching, this is something that we'll certainly talk about is let's identify some of those things that could come into the way of your goals. What are the things in your life that come into your way of your goals? So you've got somebody at home that's not supportive and is bringing, Oreos in the house, and Oreos are a thing for you. Okay. Or you overslept and you missed a workout. What are you going to do? Or you forgot your lunch at home. What are you going to do? All right. You want to have that bounce back plan for the things that happen that you just like, you automatically alter course and go, all right, I'm doing this instead. Okay. One example, I made a video about this. One example was a couple weekends ago, I was doing a long hike and I was getting ready for the hike, got everything together, all my water, all my supplies, everything. But as I'm driving to the trailhead, I kept having this feeling like I forgot something. I forgot to do something or I forgot to bring something and I couldn't think of what. But about halfway there, I realized I forgot to eat breakfast. And I was doing a 20-mile hike. It was a hike I needed to eat breakfast. So because I know that I am forgetful and I will walk right out the door without things, I keep extra food in my car, which is sometimes difficult because I live in Arizona, and things get hot. And you might live in a climate too where things get hot or things get cold. So you got to work around that. But I have a cooler in my car and I keep protein bars in there. So I had that plan. All right. Yep. I forgot to eat breakfast. So when I got to the trailhead, I ate a protein bar. Okay. It wasn't ideal. It wasn't what I had planned, but it certainly solved the problem. All right. It was my bounce back plan. You missed your workout. You overslept and you missed your workout. So we get good at time management when we're trying to handle all this stuff. We get real good at managing our time and moving things around. So you miss your workout. So what do? What are you going to do? You're going to maybe do a shorter workout later in the day. You're going to go on a nice walk instead, or maybe a swim. Something easy, something easily accessible. You don't have to drive there. You don't have to waste time getting ready. You don't have to waste time cleaning up afterwards. Something that's much more accessible, whatever it may be. But you have that plan in place like, okay, I woke up this morning a little bit late. I wasn't able to get my workout in. So what's the plan? Is today going to be an unplanned off day and I'm going to take the day that I had planned to take off? Now that's going to be a workout day. That's my plan. Okay. So have that bounce back. So what I want you to do is to start thinking through what some of those obstacles are that you might have. You can put this in your journal. Start thinking through what some of those obstacles are that you have. And you might already know 2 or 3 off the top of your head. You might have somebody that's bringing food in your house that you just like, I don't want this in the house. All right. Or you might know that you don't drink enough water. Or you might know you don't get enough sleep. A lot of us are wearing these sleep trackers now. Very easy to tell if you're getting enough sleep. And maybe you know that you're not getting enough sleep. So what am I going to do to get enough sleep? Do I have to go to bed a little bit earlier? Do I have to start saying no to things so I have a little bit more time so I can sleep a little bit more? What is that going to be? So start thinking through what some of those obstacles are that you have. And this might be something like as you go through your week, you're like, oh, this is a thing. This is a thing that just happened and here's how I handled it. So you realize like now this is an obstacle that comes in your way of achieving your goal. And then you can write that down in your journal. And then from there, what you could do is you can write down 2 or 3 different things that when this thing happens again, these are the things that you can do to bounce back from it. All right. So rather than forgetting your lunch, like in my case, I forgot my breakfast. So rather than going to the McDonald's drive-through to get who knows whatever, I had a protein bar, healthy protein bar. It was perfect, nutrients that I need for my hike. And I was on my way. All right. So rather than doing that thing, I did this thing because it was just an automatic thing because I knew I forget things. Okay. So you want to start listing out what some of those things are that are obstacles for you. And then start thinking through, okay, when this thing happens, what can I do to come back from it right away? Okay. And if you need help with this, certainly let me know and we can talk through it. Post in the Facebook group too if you want. It's totally okay as well. All right. So use that plan. It's going to help you stay on track despite the setbacks. Your plan might not be perfect. You missed a workout. You might not get the perfect workout in, but you got something in. So, and again, I talk about this all the time too. Consistency over perfection. We're working on being consistent. We're working on making progress. We're making sure that we're doing all the things every single day, day in and day out. Consistency over perfection. And so, I'm going to use this as an example is that you are going to have much better results working out 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day, doing a somewhat intense workout versus doing a massive, super hard, holy crap, 2-hour workout on Monday. And then you're so sore through the rest of the week that you don't do anything until 10 days later, like the following Wednesday, because you're so damn sore. All right. That's like a perfect example of what I'm talking about here is that because you're not able to focus on being consistent because you're just like, well, I got to get to this thing. I want to be this person that can work out 2 hours a day, really super hard. That's fine if you want to be that. You don't need to. But if you want to be that person, you got to work up to that. Okay. And so what we want to do here is really just focus on being consistent 5 days a week, 30 minutes of working out or whatever your plan is, whatever your workout plan is that aligns to your goals. That's just an example that I gave. Your plan might be different just based on your goals, but you're going to have so much more progress in the long run if you just do a little bit every single day versus trying to go balls to the wall and then you don't do anything for 2 weeks or even longer because now you're just like, right? And then what I want you to do is really focus on doable routines, even on bad days. So we all have days where we're just like, we don't have a lot of energy. If you still have a monthly cycle, we have certain times of the month where we're just like sluggish. You feel like you weigh 8,000 pounds. You want to make sure that you have some sort of a routine for those kinds of days. Or you just wake up and you're like, this is not happening today. Okay. So have a routine, have something that you can do on those days. Do you like to go swimming instead? Or do you want to just go for a walk instead? Or, maybe you want to hop on the treadmill during a meeting and do that instead. Okay. So you're still doing something. You're not just doing nothing. All right. And then again, those daily habits, consistency is crucial for that long-term success. Do a little bit every single day. Over time, it starts to add up. It's exponential, not linear. You're not going to see progress like this. You're going to see progress like this. Okay. Actually, you know what? Progress is more like this. That's really more what you're going to see. But as you keep stacking up those consistent days, it's going to keep going up. All right. And then accountability. So you're part of the Vibrant Balanced Living Inner Circle. This is part of your accountability is these weekly sessions that we come together and talk about a topic that is relevant to your health and wellness goals. All right. Each one of you have different goals, but generally speaking, you want to live a more healthy lifestyle and you're trying to learn how to do that. And so the weekly sessions that we do, this is part of your accountability is showing up. It is showing up for yourself and saying, I'm going to go to this live session or I'm going to watch the recording. I try to post them as soon as they're available. Zoom's got to do their thing to process them, but I try to post them as soon as they're available. So you might say to yourself, all right, on Wednesdays, I'm going to sit down and watch the recordings, or during my workout on Wednesdays when I'm on the treadmill, I'm going to listen to the recording or whatever it may be. All right. So you're starting to hold yourself accountable for showing up and coming to these sessions. And as this group continues to grow, we will have group discussions and group conversations about, so what are some of the things and some of the challenges that you're trying to work through. I can certainly give you some advice, but other people might have advice for you as well. All right. So accountability is so incredibly important in achieving wellness goals. And it's incredibly important in achieving any one of your goals. And I think that part of self-discipline is learning how to hold yourself accountable to things, but also knowing that sometimes that's just one more thing you have to do. And so having that outside person or outside group or outside entity that's really holding you accountable to your goals is really going to help support you, especially when things start getting tough. I'll give you an example. Think about, I'm going to use school as the example again, because I worked so many years. I had so many years in school. Plus, you guys all understand how schools work. That, think about a time where you purchased some sort of training or you had to do some training for work or whatever it might be, but there was no deadline on it. Okay. It was just sort of open ended and you could just do it whenever. Did you get it done? Maybe you got it done because your boss was like, hey, you got to have it done by this day. HR is like, "Hey," right? But think about how many times maybe you bought a book, you bought a training course, something like this, and there's no accountability on the other end of it, right? There's no deadline on it. All right. And it's really hard to hold yourself accountable to achieve that, to complete that. Okay. So having that outside accountability can really help with achieving your wellness goals and really any kind of goals. All right. And we all know the benefits of joining your support group or coaching. You've got your support group here. That's the inner circle. And then we also offer one-on-one coaching directly with me. That if you want to sit down and talk about your personal situation and help you come up with that plan and keep you accountable and moving forward and adjusting, helping with that adjusting as things come up, as holidays come up and weddings and parties and all of the things that come up in life, we can help you navigate those and create that bounce back plan and know that you're going to be successful. And it really just helps you feel like you're following the process, and it gives you sort of that peace of mind that if I just follow this process, it's going to happen. Okay. So just to recap, we talked about mindset, journaling, your own self-belief, handling setbacks, small wins, and then accountability. And I really want to reassure all of you, every single one of you, no matter where you are in your wellness journey or where you think you lie in your abilities to live a healthy lifestyle, that I know 100% that you can achieve your goals. You just have to tell yourself that you can do it. Okay. And I think there's a saying, I think it always gets accredited to Henry Ford, that he said, whether you think you can or you can't, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Okay. And I really firmly believe that if you tell yourself that you can do something, you will find a way to make it happen. You might not have the skills. You might not have the knowledge. You might not have the ability to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve, but have confidence in your ability to figure it out. And part of what you have done already is you're part of the inner circle or you're doing one-on-one coaching with me. And that's part of learning the skills, learning the knowledge, learning the abilities, learning all the things that go into living a healthy, balanced lifestyle so that you can feel good, you can look good, and you can do the things that you want to be able to do. So I really think it's important to remember that you're a strong, capable woman and you will figure this out. And that's what I'm here for, is to help you figure that out. Okay. So you might not know something. You might not know how to do something. You have to have confidence in that belief in yourself that you're like, okay, I don't know how to do this yet. I don't know how to do this yet. That's a huge piece of this, is I'm going to figure out how to do it. I just don't know how to do it yet. All right. So this is what I wanted to talk about today with regards to mindset. It's a lot. There is a lot of stuff in here. I think every one of these slides we could easily talk for an hour about, but this is really intended for those of you who are just getting started. You're on that journey of, I know that I want to do this. I know that I want to look good. I know that I want to feel good. But I know, like, some of you might even know, like, I know what to do, but are you doing it? And is the reason why you're not doing some of these things is because some of the stuff that's going on in our minds, some of the things that we're telling ourselves. All right. So mindset is huge. We're going to be talking a lot more about this in the inner circle. If we do one-on-one coaching, we talk a lot about that as well. I teach at a university, and I talk a lot about this with my students. I can teach skills, but it's what are the things that you're thinking about as you're doing this and you're trying to achieve those longer term goals. All right. So thank you all. I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you next week. Have a great rest of your day.